So this is cooled off now. You can see I added a little bit of collage here. And now what I want to do is put a final layer of colored encaustic, the blue over here, so that kind of balances it out and has one more top layer before I use my diamond core tools to scrape back some of the line work. And then again, provide that nice dimension and use some of these bluish oil pastels, keeping with the color palette, to rub in there. So I'm trying to think about where to put it, and I think I'm just going to do it right here. Just have a couple of little soft areas. This is nice and transparent. So what I can also do is use this wider scraper and kind of scrape back a lot of the material and get just like, that's nice. Oops. There we go, like a really broad. Kind of softer shape. And it helps when you're scraping to have already a lot of layers built up, because you don't, I mean, you could go right to the base panel, but the cooler it is also, I let the wax cool down after I'd fused it, because if it's too warm, it'll just whoosh, go right through all those layers, so I didn't really want to do that. There we go. But that gives a nice kind of final top coat. And then I'm just going to do one final light fuse on that. Just really light, even lighter than that. Go, kind of melt that in. Get rid of those sort of scrapey lines. And now I can use my pointy tools to scribe lines in. I could do it, to describe a shape. I could do it to describe like just abstract shapes. I could do something detailed. I've done like a representational drawing basically with the scraping tool, and then when you rub the oil pastel in, you can see the image appear. It's really cool. But I think for this one I'm just going to use actually this one and just scrape a nice line, sort of a curved line that, I just love that. That kind of mirrors a lot of these, or mimics a lot of these rounder shapes. And I could kind of go like that. And these tools are so nice and sharp that it just gives perfect line. And what I really, really like about them is that you see how it pulls off the wax. Whereas if I was using like a pointy scraping tool, it pushes it, and so you get a burr, and then you also have all this wax that you need to wipe off. But with the diamond core tools, because they're meant to remove ceramic, they really just, they're like loop tools, and they just pull all that off, which is really awesome. So I'm just gonna do one more here, kind of deeper one. There we go. They're just perfect for this. And because it's cool, you don't see the wax like really mushy. And when I go to rub my oil pastel in, it's not gonna collapse the sides. It's just gonna like push the oil pastel, the color into the grooves. And then what I'm gonna do is wipe off the excess. And you'll see, because the surface is smooth, the oil's not gonna stick to the surface. I'll just be able to wipe it off. I could use this also and do some marks, and you'll see that that will stick if I fuse them on there. I can always keep wiping them off if I don't like it, but once I've got the wax, the oil pastel, sorry, on there and I fuse it, then it's going to be permanent. And the only way to get it out is to scrape it. So I've also got this sort of grayish that I'm going to use. And because I'm trying to keep with this color palette but show you all the variations, this is sort of a neutral version, again, of the two together, like a combination of the blue and the orange, sort of neutral gray. And I'm really trying to get it into all that groove there, that dent. If you have oil paint, then that works really well too. You just get a little on a brush and brush it in, or your finger and smush it in. The stick is nice because you don't get super messy, or you can kind of dial in the colors. But with oil paint, you know, you can mix colors too, so either will work. They both take a little while to fully dry. Let's finish this off. Okay. And then I'm going to take my rag and just wipe off that surface. And I could leave some of that on there, or I could get a little bit of mineral spirits or linseed oil and actually completely remove that. But you can see the diamond core tools just give the nicest even line. They're just the best for those. And it kind of stains the surface, which I really like too. It makes it look like there's a lot happening underneath those layers. All right, so one final little fuse and then we'll be done. Oh, let's just show you a little bit more here, just because. There we go. I'll show you what that does once the oil pastel has been, this is actually oil stick, but same thing with the oil pastel, has been fused. So just the lowest amount to kind of, again, I don't want to melt the line, I just want to fuse the color onto the surface. If I did it any hotter or any higher, it would start to blend it and mush it around, and I don't really want that. But I do want to get everywhere that the oil stick and oil pastel have gotten, otherwise it won't stick, and I'll just be able to kind of swipe it off until it dries, which takes, I don't know, a couple weeks for it to fully dry. And that's working with a limited palette. So I've got my encaustic paint in different colors, the complementary colors, blue and orange, and the combination of the two. I've got collage that has similar color palette, and I've also got the oil pastel in, again, the similar color palette. I could go bright, you know, if I wanted to keep with the blue, but go a little bit more blue-green and have some brighter. That adds a whole other sort of feel. So, you know, you could play around with it, but I really like the way that the complementary limited palette gives you a lot of neutrals too. I think that really adds a good balance. All right, so that's it.